My book chapter on XueJi in Chinese is just one of the many studies on it. There are several versions of English translations available. The latest was just published last year with the title Chinese Philosophy on Teaching and Learning, XueJi in the 21st Century. An interesting question here is that literally XueJi should be translated as the theory of learning. But why is it put as the theory of education? Let's look at the three Chinese characters, which is the last verse in the third paragraph of XueJi. The current form of the Chinese characters, 学学办. 办 means have, 学 means learning. But if we look at the earliest form of these three Chinese characters, which are the bronze inscriptions, their shapes are very close to the current form, but the first one is quite different. And the first one actually was evolved from 教. So that means 教学办, which means teaching and learning is one process. Each of teaching and learning is just half of the process. There are 6 core values of XueJi. First, humanistic mission of education. XueJi used the metaphor indicating that jade that remains uncut will never become an article, and that a person unlearned will never realize the Confucian taught. Second, learning and teaching as individual and social development. Education and learning are the first priority in any individual and political agenda, and this belief has been carried forward in China over the past 2,000 years. Third, teachers' authority and autonomy. Respect of teachers is the first step in successful learning. The fourth core value of XueJi is the undividedness of humanities and universes, yet secular and civil. The fifth core value is the unity of knowing and action. Learning is to cultivate people and nurture the ways of people's life. The last core value of XueJi is its objections to many forms of miseducation, including passivity, rote learning, conformity, dishonesty, and over-eagerness of success. The school framework of XueJi includes 5 dimensions. First, educational mission committed to humanistic goal of individual and social development. Second, school system for statewide public schools at different levels from clan villages to capital. Third, a curricular and assessment structures for 9 years of learning with both formal and extracurricular, and evaluated in 2 stages. Fourth, management for learning and teaching highlights formative and proper progress of learning and teaching. Lastly, it's about teacher qualifications. Teachers must fully understand the success and failure of teaching and learning before they can take up the job. Finally, I have 3 reminders. First, in history, XueJi, together with other Confucian classics, has laid a solid foundation for the Chinese model of learning and teaching and schooling. Second, XueJi carries the cultural genes of the Chinese way of education, which is centered on humanities. Lastly, XueJi portrays a totally different picture to modern critiques on the Chinese way of learning, teaching, and schooling. By this point, you may be very curious about one question. How may ancient Chinese philosophy be used for our educational reform in the global age? Let's continue to explore it in the near future.